Hey everyone, Not Dead Yet here, and today I just kind of want to talk about struggle and hardship and weathering the storm, so to speak. Lately I've seen a lot of people, both online and, close to me, really struggle. There have been a lot of things going on with second wave and political turmoil and the fact that a lot of us truly believe that things would be a lot better at this point in the year and the possibility of things going into 2021. Personal relationship issues, family issues, and everything in between. And I wanted to help, so I'm going to give advice the only way I know how, through boxing metaphors and analogies. Life is a boxing match. There are times when you'll be doing great and times when you're not. Times when you're winning and times when you're losing. Times where you're beating the crap out of the other guy and the other guy's beating the crap out of you. And while no one can actually get into the ring and fight for you, that's your job, you still have your cornerman, which is the guy that gives you advice and water in between rounds. Your cut man, the guy that closes wounds and tries to bring down swelling while you rest, and your second, the guy that puts the stool that you sit on into the ring, ices your back as well as cleans out your mouth guard. You also have those in the crowd cheering you on, but sometimes with fight anxiety you become so focused on those cheering against you, and then the second the bell rings, the crowd fades away altogether and you become so tunnel vision and focused on the guy trying to take your head off. That isn't always a bad thing. It is important, especially in a fight, to focus on the immediate threat, but it's also important to remember those in your corner and those cheering you on and those trying to help you too. Doesn't necessarily mean focus on them all the time and ignore, the guy trying to take your head off, but it's important to remember that there are people there cheering for you and people there willing to help you and give you advice, like those in the crowd and those in your corner. And even if you have no one cheering you on and no one in your corner, keep on fighting. I've seen it time and time again. Tenacity, grit, and determination can and will win over a hostile crowd, and you will gain supporters and cornermen in time. There's many examples where a nobody, an underdog, someone that people just shrugged off and laughed at, turned the tide of a fight and ended up winning, or at the very least gaining the respect of the crowd as he left the ring. Just because no one is necessarily cheering for you at the start of a fight doesn't mean that you won't have anybody cheering for you when the fight ends. Now let's get a little more specific with this metaphor. Okay, so I want you to imagine, right, you're a fighter in the ring, and right now a lot of us are on the ropes. We are tired. We are exhausted, actually. Our legs feel like they're filled with lead and our hands feel heavy, and our opponent sees that. And whatever opponent that may be is coming for us. He's unloading on us. Everything we have, we're getting hit from all directions, we're getting overwhelmed. We don't even know where the punches are coming from at this point, and we don't even know what hurts, because you're just getting, at first it's your temple, then it's your chin, then it's your solar plexus, then your ribs, then back to your nose and your cheeks, and you don't know what's going on. You're getting overwhelmed. Stop. Take a breath. Lean back a bit, plant your foot, and get your hands up. I'm going to teach you guys how to do something called turtling. In boxing, turtling is when you get your hands up, you bring your elbows in, and you hold tight. You look like this. You get your hands up, elbows in, and you sit tight, and you take it. You take the barrage of attacks that your opponent is giving you. You just sit tight and wait. What are you waiting for? Well, you're waiting for your opponent to get tired. Why are we waiting like this? Why are we just taking punches to the arms? Well, you see, you're not going to get knocked out taking shots to the arms. Yes, it may hurt. Yes, you still may get tired. It may still tire you out. But no one in the history of boxing ever, to my knowledge, has ever been knocked out by taking shots to the arms. So what you do is, even though it still hurts and you're still taking shots, you're still absorbing punches, you go and you get your hands up and you take the shots on a part of the body that will do the least amount of damage, and you sit and you wait. And you wait for your opponent to tire themselves out, because no matter who or what your opponent is, they will eventually tire themselves out. Nothing lasts forever. Whatever you're going through, whatever you are facing will eventually pass. And at that point, when your opponent starts to get tired and you can feel his punches start to slow, there's less power behind them, they're less fast, they're less crisp, you can hear your opponent breathing heavier. That is when you come back with a vengeance. You get out of your turtle stance and you start attacking. You take advantage of the opportunity created when your opponent lightens up, and you come back. Just because you're down now does not mean in any sense of the word that you are out. Boxing matches have peaks and they have lows, because no matter what, over the course of a long fight, you will get tired, and there will be moments where you need to rest and recover your stamina. There are various different ways to do that. Some people dance around the ring and try to avoid getting hit, but even that takes energy, and eventually, at some point over the course of, say, a 12-round championship match, you will not really have the energy to dance. And if your opponent is fresh enough to catch you, you are going to have to back up onto the ropes and turtle and hold on. And it may be tough. You may be holding on for dear life. You may be one punch away from getting lights out, from getting knocked out cold. But that's okay. Because as long as you keep a tight guard, and you hold tight, and you sit and you wait, he's not getting through this. Hold tight. Stay. Keep your hands up. They will not break that guard. Sometimes, and you know what? It may take different people various amounts of time to actually come back. Let's say you got rocked in the middle of the last minute of round 9. You take a punch to the jaw and just get rocked. And you're like, okay, I need to turtle, I need to cover up and hide. And then you have to wait until the end of the bell. Right? That's fine. As long as you survive till the end of the round, you can still come back. You can still win. And if you want to, and if I've lost you in the metaphor here, let me break it down a little bit more. There are times in life when it just feels like you are getting beaten down. Life kicks you to the ground and then starts beating you to make sure that you never get up. And sometimes you just have to take a break. You have to take time to yourself. You have to accept the fact that things aren't that great right now in this moment, and you just have to sit down and weather the storm and recognize that not everything things will not be bad forever. Eventually things will peak. Sometimes things get worse before they get better, but they will eventually get better. It doesn't matter how hard of a shot you've taken, it doesn't matter what you are going through, how terrible things are, things will get better at some point. And sometimes, to continue with the boxing analogy here, you can come back within the same round. Sometimes you take a hard shot, you get your hands up, you're on the ropes for about 20 seconds, and you catch your breath, and you fire off a counter and keep going. Sometimes, you can do that. Sometimes something bad happens, and you're like, damn, that really sucks, and then let's say you take a mental health moment, or you treat yourself. You treat yourself to a nice meal, or a really good workout, or a nice relaxing bubble bath, right? And then you come back and you're like, okay, let's tackle these problems, let's get after it. But other times you take a really hard shot, or 2 shots. Let's say, you take let's say, I don't know, let's say, you were really excited for, Thanksgiving, right? And then suddenly, boom, you get hit to the body shot. Ugh! Second wave of COVID. Oh, cases are going up. Oh no, that's bad. And then boom, you get slammed with another punch to the jaw. That means I can't see any of my family for Thanksgiving. And that really sucks, right? And so now you're wobbling. You're like, what do I do? Cover up, turtle up, take a breath. Let these things roll off of your arms. Take a moment to take in what is going on. Get a grasp of your surroundings, and then maybe you're going to have to survive till the end of the round. Maybe it's going to take you a day to recover. Maybe you need, time to kind of okay, I'm just going to relax, do something for myself, and I'll start thinking about solutions or worrying about my problems tomorrow. Different people will need different times to deal with different issues. But the point being is that you can still weather the storm. I'd also like to add a little bit of a disclaimer to this. You cannot turtle forever. Eventually you are going to have to push back, fight back to win the fight. Because if you spend the entire fight turtling, you will lose. A lot of fights are based off of things like ring dominance, aggression, positioning, skill, and turtling, while fine in small bursts or for a round or two, is not going to be what will win you a fight overall. To make it more obvious for this metaphor, you cannot continuously take mental health days or, rest days or whatever. You may need to take rest days or mental health days or whatever for various lengths of time depending on what you're going through, but you cannot spend your entire life recovering. There's gonna be a point where you will at some point have to move on and start attacking back, start working again, and start moving forward. Because if you don't, then all those things that you're fighting, all those bad things, and every opponent that you're going up against will have gotten the better of you. It's good to turtle up, it's good to protect yourself, but you can't do it forever. It is something you do to rest until you have recovered and then keep moving forward. How long should you be recovering or turtling for? That is something to decide among you and those in your corner. Your cornermen, your seconds, and all that will help you determine how long you should continue to turtle for. You are not alone in this. Speak with your cornermen, whoever they may be. That's a metaphor for all those people in your life who you can turn to for help and support. Talk to them and work together to come up with a game plan for the rest of the fight, because that is what cornermen do. When you get hurt and your opponent sees that you're hurt, he's going to come after you with everything he has. It is your job at that point to turtle up, stay safe, and do what you can to survive to the end of the round, because the end of the round is safety. The end of the round is you get a minute to sit in your corner, catch your breath, hear some advice, and relax. And for you guys, for whoever it may be out there watching this that needs, to hear this, the end of the round for you guys might be until you get to talk to your friends again. Maybe there's a friend that you can just vent to and it makes you feel better. Maybe, your end of the round is your next workout because you're super tense and stressed and you want to relieve that stress in your workout. So maybe you're having kind of a panic attack and you just have to go, okay, breathe. My workout's in 2 hours. I just have to survive until the workout. That's the end of the round. Some people, maybe it's just to bed. This day really sucked. I'm just gonna go to bed, wake up tomorrow, new day, fresh round, let's get after it, right? Because I know 2020 has been very tough for a lot of people. It's why I put this shirt on for this video. It's the famous Mike Tyson quote, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? Everybody's heard it, everyone knows what it is. It's a quote that's repeated ad nauseum, but I find that a lot of people misinterpret the quote, especially in these times. And I want to be very clear what I mean by this quote when I talk about it in this video. Now, this quote does not mean do not have a plan. It does not mean abandon whatever plan you had because things went wrong. What it means is you need to have a general game plan for what you are going to do and adapt on the fly as things happen. Because in a fight, you should always have a general game plan of what you're going to do. Okay, this guy is taller than me. I am short, which means I'm going to have to pressure him to get in. He's probably going to throw his jab to try and keep me outside of his range, or try to stay outside of my range while keeping me inside of his. I'm going to have to try and slip his jab, get in, and throw body shots. And then suddenly, I step into the ring, and the guy doesn't jab me. He goes full aggro and is willing to fight me on the inside. Well, then I'm going to have to adjust my strategy, but I still have a general game plan on how I'm going to deal with him on the inside. And I feel like people, now, especially now more than ever, with the seemingly impossible task of trying to plan out what comes next, because another famous quote, in times of uncertainty the only thing that's certain as change, I think is the quote. In times like these, when we're faced with the seemingly impossible task of trying to plan out what comes next, I mean, I believe the famous quote is, in times of uncertainty, the only constant is change. It's still important to have a general game plan for what you want to do. How you do it and what happens to get you there is obviously going to change, but you should still have some kind of general idea of what you want and a general game plan. Do not abandon the hopes and the plans that you had going into this year and going into next year, because I find that if people who do that give up all hope. And bringing it back to the fight analogy, let's say I was really preparing for this boxer, this tall fighter, to run from me the entire fight. So I trained to catch him, to make sure that he would never run away, right? So that every time he tried to run, I'd be there. And then suddenly, as soon as the fight starts, boom, he cranks me with a jab, and he starts pressuring me, and he starts attacking me. And I freak out, and I go, this isn't what I planned for. Like, he was supposed to run from me, and now he's being aggressive. I didn't plan for aggressive fighter. What do I do? What do I do? I'm going to lose. I've already lost the fight, in fact, because I've lost my composure and I've given up all hope. Do not do that. The fight is not lost. It doesn't matter how hard of a shot you've taken. It doesn't matter how many shots you've taken. It doesn't matter how much of a flurry of blows and how hard and how thick this fighter is laying down the punches. You can survive till the end of the round. You can readjust your strategy and you can come back and take the fight. It's just a matter of being able to adapt. And I know it's difficult for everyone. I know it's different for everyone. And I know that this mentality does not work for everyone. I know the tools that needed to weather the storm or keep your hands up will be different for everyone. And for me, when I get into difficult situations and I'm going through a tough time, I do my best to remind myself of this basic analogy, this elbows in, chins down, hands up. And I just think to myself, elbows in, chin down, hands up. Keep yourself safe, and then when it's time, when your opponent gets tired, come back. And you will come back. I will fire back. I will beat this guy. I just need enough time to recoup and recover. So when things are tough, and you don't know what to do, and you feel overwhelmed, and you feel like you're getting hit from all angles, from all different punches, and you don't know where they are coming from. You can't see them coming, you can't slip them, you can't dodge them. You are just taking shots. Take a breath, take a step back, and just remember, elbows in, chin down, hands up. Survive till the end of the round, or survive until however long you need to, and then come back with a vengeance and take the round. Because I'm not dead yet. And if you're watching this, you aren't either. And you know what that means. There sure as hell is a tomorrow waiting for you.